You know, Nicholas Hoult always surprises me. Whenever you say his name, I can't help but think of this.
He fancies you, he told me.
And I forget that he did this. And this.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Hello and welcome to Popcorn Dreams Gut Reactions. If you are looking for a quick spoiler-free review, then you have come to the right place. And today we are watching Those Who Wish Me Dead.
Why'd they put you in a fire tower?
Well, I'm just lucky, I guess.
It was written and directed by Taylor Sheridan, who hasn't directed a lot before. He directed Wind River and he directed some episodes of a TV show called Yellowstone. I haven't watched any of them. And it was co-written by Charles Leavitt, who did the Warcraft movie, The Heart of the Sea, and K-Pax. So, mixed form there, a little bit. Lots of sort of films that weren't quite as good as you thought they were going to be. And it was co-written by Michael Kurita, who hasn't written any films before, but he did write the book that this was based on.
I should have gone to them.
Then you'd be dead too.
That's our job.
A teenage murder witness finds himself pursued by twin assassins through the Montana wilderness, with a survival expert tasked to protect him, and a forest fire threatening to kill them all.
Stop! I'm not gonna hurt you.
I want to see where the blood's coming from.
It's not my blood.
It stars Angelina Jolie, John Bernthal, Aidan Gillen and Nicholas Hoult, and it has a little cameo by Tyler Perry as well. Are they any good? Yeah, of course they're all good. Look at the talent that's on display on this. It's just, they're all capable of better than this. I mean, it's not their fault. They just feel like they're underused. They all have the beginnings of interesting characters, but none of it really truly pays off. The film is quite short, only 100 minutes, and it just feels like if they had 10 or 15 minutes more, then the actors could have really had the opportunity to add the emotional weight to truly complete their arcs. As it is, all the characters just seem a little underwhelming. They all seem, at the first sort of 40 minutes, you're quite into it and you're like, hey, these are cool people, this is interesting. You know, there's some interesting dynamics set up here, but just nothing's done with any of it.
My dad said, if anything happened, I should find someone I can trust. Are you someone I can trust?
The cinematography is great, with some really beautiful shots of the wilderness. You know, the hills, the mountains, the forests, and of course there's some really beautiful shots of the fire as well. It's just a shame that the script is so bad. Actually, that's me being a little bit too harsh. It's not that bad. There are some real clunky dialogue scenes. The sheriff and his wife, who are 6 months pregnant, when they first interact, when they were talking to each other, my reaction was like, what? What did you say? What does that mean? Huh? What? At the end of the day, the biggest problem is that the character arcs are poorly executed. You have interesting setups that are fairly traditional for these kind of characters. You've seen these before. You've seen these people before in other films, but then it's not paid off in a very satisfying way. This kind of movie isn't rocket science. Actually, if you're a first-time writer or director, this is a great kind of movie for you, because these archetypes and these stereotypes are well-worn and well-known to your audience. And so all you have to do is follow those templates and pay it off in a satisfying way, and you'll have a pretty good first movie under your belt. The problem is, if you shoot for the stars and you want to change those well-known conclusions to each storyline, then you're running a risk, and it better be that your alternatives to those are amazing, because when you've got story arcs that are well developed and have been done many, many times, the audience then comes to expect it. If you're then going to change it, you're going to jolt the audience out of their suspension of disbelief, in which case what you change it for must be pretty awesome. If I tell my daughter she's getting chocolate cake for her birthday, and I turn up with mango pudding, it better be an amazing mango pudding to get over the disappointment of her not having chocolate cake. And that's kind of how a lot of these story arcs feel. Ultimately, each of the endings of each of the characters' story arcs aren't very satisfying. You're waiting for the moment that you know is coming, but it never really does. And it's never really done properly. It's never sort of fully done. You never have those fully emotional moments that you're expecting. And you can say, oh, that's great, they're trying something new, but the something new has to be amazing. What is criminal, though, is that you have genuine threats that are built up really effectively, and then when it comes for them to really shine and to really make our main characters fear what's going on, they're just undercut. Especially around the forest fire, there are 2 story arcs where the way they sort of resolve, I'm sitting there and I'm going, is that real? Now, I'm not a forest fire expert. I mean, obviously look at me. You would imagine action hero potential. Mr. Going out every weekend, white water rafting and hiking and, obviously. But believe it or not, I don't know anything about survival, and I don't know anything about forest fires, but still 2 things happened which made me stop and go, would that work? Wouldn't that be horrifically hot and kill you like really quickly? Would you be able to survive like that? And the moment that the idiot in the audience, your average idiot, hello, that's me, is sitting there going, hang on, wait, does that work? Would that happen? Then you've moved your audience. Your audience are not suspending their disbelief anymore. They're sitting there, they're questioning you, they're asking questions about what's going on and the likelihood of that, and it just removes any tension. It removes any sort of emotional payoff. And that you can't do that to your audience and expect them to really react to a film and to really love it. I have to say, though, that I watched this film 2 days ago now, and I have Googled Forest Fire Ash since then. And I don't think they could have done that. Oh, no, spoiler free. Right. So the fire is not as scary as it should be when the script needs it to stop being scary. And the assassins as well, who the description says they're twins. I don't think they're twins. Brothers I can accept because they've got the same surname. But you've got a great couple of actors there. Aidan Gillen just oozes menace from every pore. That man's phenomenal. He was one of the best things in Game of Thrones, and he's great. And Nicholas Hoult is just huge. He's like a mountain. Good Lord, he must be like 10 foot. Okay, 6'2" maybe. But, he's huge. He looks genuinely quite intimidating and also a bit weird. So he looks like that kind of weird psycho that you would expect an assassin to be. So you've got 2 actors playing the assassins, and they're great. And they are built up as clinical, sadistic, uncaring, exactly what they should be. Until the script needs them to spare someone's life, and so then they start acting like complete dumbasses and get outfoxed by just everybody. And you've given me these scary guys, and then you've taken away their threat, and I'm like, hey, just, they're put in a position where I think they would have had to have done something slightly untasteful. But if you're going to write your story to be like that, then you've got to follow through. If you're going to put someone in threat where audiences might go, ooh, like that, then you've got to follow through with that. You can't wimp out. If you're not going to follow through, then don't put them in that position in the first place, because the individual that they're squaring off against, they don't need to be in the rest of the film. They don't. You could do it other ways. So either follow through on what you're setting up or don't bother. Because when the threat is removed, they kind of start acting dumb. And even one of the characters says to the other, hey, you know what? You're like acting kind of weird now after something happens. The characters acknowledging that they're making odd choices does not excuse the fact that they're making odd choices when they're supposed to be sort of ruthless professionals. Oh, and the final thing that made me raise an eyebrow, I don't really care about this, but it did make me raise an eyebrow in that I was just like, oh, really? Yeah, I suppose so. That's fine. Again, though, if the words I suppose so, or it's just an action movie, or it's just a film, or it's not real come out of my mouth, then you know that that's a bad thing. And this film broke new ground in giving us a 6-month pregnant action hero. And I've got 3 children. I've got, 3, 6, 9. I've got 10 nephews and nieces. I've known a lot of women who have been heavily pregnant at 6 months, and I'm telling you that they are not climbing up via towers, and they're not going horseback riding, and they're not doing archery and gunfire. You know, I'm just saying, it's fine, it's okay. It just pushes the line a little bit. And with the other things where they sort of push believability a little bit, then it kind of becomes a bit weird. I mean, you know, she's cool, she's a badass. You know, hooray. I kind of like her as a character. I just find it a little bit unbelievable.
Give us something else to worry about. You really want to die for this kid?
Would I recommend it? No, not really. It's not bad, it's just forgettable. Everyone goes through the motions and they all know what needs to be done to make a film like this work. It's just that the director and the writers made some basic choices that just make it not very satisfying. It's not a great movie. It's not a good movie, really. But it's not awful. I mean, if you want to go to the cinema, if you've been stuck in your house in quarantine for months and you can get out now, and you know your other half is like, hey, there's an Angelina Jolie movie, let's go watch that, then yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You just won't remember this movie in 6 months' time. And from my point of view, that's quite a damning comment. Mediocrity is the worst thing. Give me garbage that's hilarious, or give me an epic moment in cinema, or give me something that's enjoyable and exciting. Just don't give me something that's meh.
What happens next?
You look it right in the eye.
Tell 'em that God's gonna cut you down. Tell 'em that God's gonna cut you down.
Thanks for watching this review. If you liked what you see, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow our socials. The links are down in the description below. And I will see you next time on Popcorn Dreams.